I think in Buddhism, they don't believe in the presence of God, but they believe in the presence of a power, which is technically God, right? In my family, we don't really practice all the burning incenses. That is more like Taoism. My name is Jessica. Full name is actually Ang Mei Ching, so you would be able to guess that I'm Chinese. I'm 31 years old this year, okay, and I come from Penang, so that is where I used to grow up. I grew up at. I'm a teacher. I teach French in international school. Can't disclose the name of the school though, because private and confidential. Previously, I was a Buddhist, but I think in Malaysia it's different how we perceive what Buddhists do and how Buddhists practice. So for me, it's more like believing that Buddha has his own teachings and following what he teaches, like do good and don't do bad. I think in Buddhism, they don't believe in the presence of God, but they believe in the presence of a power, which is technically God, right? In my family, we don't really practice all the burning incenses. That is more like Taoism. So my family don't really practice that up until today. Yeah.
And that's interesting because we thought Buddhism is also the one that burning the incense for the ancestors.
I think it is the new Buddhism where they tried to mix the cultures. Yeah, because technically Chinese came from China, and in China this is what they do. Yeah, so they mix up everything. I have been a Revert since 2015, so that makes it almost 5 years. Yeah, almost 5 years. But officially reverted in 2015, but I have been learning about Islam since 2014-ish. Yeah. No, earlier than that. 2011, sorry. Yeah, much earlier than that. Real story, if I'm being completely honest, is because I found a guy. It was because of this guy who's my husband right now. When we were studying in France, we were friends. He made his moves, and then he was asking whether if I would marry a Muslim and convert into Islam, and then started to think about it, like, oh seriously, he's serious. So what I did was I started to study and found out that it is not really like how Islam is portrayed in Malaysia. When I was studying about Islam, I was actually in France, and looking at the people over there, it makes me think that, well, Islam is really not that bad. Yeah, and I came across people from different kinds of, different parts of the world. I even had a friend who is French, pure French, but she is Muslim, and I was like, wow. But what attracted me the most to convert is not really about the marriage. It is really about what I have read in the Quran, what my friends have shared to me about Islam. Not the do's and the don'ts, but most of the things are like, if you're a Muslim, what you are actually, your value. Yeah, so I started to get attracted to Islam, and then I remembered there's this one night before I went to bed, I was asking myself, okay, so now I learned about Islam. Okay, I learned why do we pray, how do we pray, what is praying actually, why do we need to pray, why do we need to get to know Allah and love Allah. Then I started to think, well, what if I sleep tonight and then I wake up tomorrow not being a Muslim? So I couldn't sleep that night, and then I told my friends, when I was there, we had a group of Usra sisters, but I wasn't really part of them because I wasn't a Muslim yet. So I referred to one of the sister, and then she said, you know, you thinking like that and having performed some of the salat, I think you're already a Muslim, but it's just not official yet. So at that time I was like, wow, this is really deep. It's really not what I expected. So I didn't do the official converting because when I was in France, my parents didn't know about it, my whole family didn't know about it, and when I came back after studying, I wanted to tell them, but my third sister knew about it. She freaked out. She started scolding me, started saying like, what are you doing, da 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 da. And then She told my father. My father started to really, like, he was scared. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know what to do because it's really difficult, right? I even had my sister chasing me out of the house. Yeah, a lot of problems happened. And then, with the help of my father-in-law, he actually went and see my parents, saying that, look, if she were to convert to Islam, she will not change. She will still be the same person as she was and she is. And then my parents started to open up, and my mother asked me, if this is really what you want, then I can't really do anything, because if I say no, you will still do it anyway, because that's me. Yeah, so a year later, a year before I got married, I officially converted with, I think that time it was Jais, with Jais. Yeah, converted. Yeah. The first time, actually, I think it was back in 2011 as well. I had a really good friend. She is still my good friend right now. She bought me my first sajadah, and I still have it right now. It's a grey one. So she said, just keep it in case that you feel like you want to solat. You can just take it out and try. And at that time, I didn't have any telekung at all. So I remembered what I wore when I wanted to solat was, I wore my jacket, my jeans as usual. I wear stockings, and then I use the pashmina to cover my head. And then I had everything written out on the paper. I put it on the floor, and then I just followed step by step. So actually, when I followed that for like maybe 10 times, I was able to remember what to do. Yeah, but to think back, it was really nice, because I think it's the willpower that I had at that time, wanting to perform the solat without even, being a Muslim yet. It makes me feel like I really wanted to convert. Yeah, so that was the feeling that I had at that time. But I also have to say that the rush that I had gave me some troubles as well, because like, I remembered the feeling that I had when I was learning how to perform the prayer, and towards later on, maybe like 2 to 3 years later, when I was already like a Muslim, the feeling was different. Like right now, when I solat, it's just solat. But previously, when I solat, when I learned everything, when I apply everything, it was really, yeah, it is different.
Was it like excitement? What was it?
I feel like I have achieved something that nobody has achieved before, and it's not even a physical thing like you earn a degree or you win. It's not that, but it's something that makes your heart feel contented. Yeah.
So it's contentment.
Yeah, it's contentment. Yeah, and I feel that I have a lot of trust towards this belief to guide me and to die with it. In my position, I would say that it's very difficult for me to be an exemplary Muslim. The reason why I'm saying this is because as far as my physical is concerned, like I wear the hijab and I cover, but I don't cover in a way that I think I should cover. Like, for example, I've seen and known people who, when they cover it really for the sake of Allah, like lillahi ta'ala, and they know that whatever happens, they will cover and they will not do anything about it. Like for myself, when I go to work, sometimes I put on the turban because I have a boss that doesn't really fancy, Muslim or Malays, but this is how I react to it. That's why I'm saying that I'm not the right person to give a message to all new Muslims, to any of the new Muslims in the world. But if there is something that I want to say, it is very important to remain steadfast and to remain strong, whatever decision that you make, be it to be a better Muslim or be it something that will make yourself feel better, even if you're not successfully doing something for the Islamically. After I became Muslim, I think one of the biggest challenge is the hijab. Yeah, because when I converted, I wasn't really prepared to put on the hijab. After I got married, I straight away put on the hijab. And a lot of my friends and family, they turned away from me and they started to say like, wow, now she has put on her hijab, maybe she'll change to a different person. And I really have a lot of friends who turn away from me. With my family, it's different because they have already expected that I'll put on the hijab. So what they did was they just teased me and say like, you dah pakai tudung, Melayu. Yeah. Another challenge is this is really a challenge, especially for those who start off learning very committed to learn Islam in a very excited way, and then after that, when they are officially a Muslim, that when they don't have any struggles at all, then whatever that they learn and their commitment, it went down. So that was what happened to me. I really struggled because when I was learning, I had people telling me not to learn, Islam is not for you, now that you're not officially converted yet, you better stop it, because once you're converted, you can't go back, stuff like that. But I tried, I fought them, I tried, I got my way, I converted, I reverted, now I'm a successful Muslim on paper. Then after that, I kind of take advantage of that situation. So I was saying to myself, like, look, now you're a Muslim, take your time, chill, take your time. But I see that right now, the results of me taking time and not really learning like how I used to learn, it made me feel like I have wasted a lot of time, and I will not be able to be the perfect Muslim that a person sees, like, oh wow, perfect Muslim. Yeah, so I think the greatest challenge is to remain in the same rhythm.
So you still come like being steadfast would be the biggest challenge.
Yes, staying steadfast. My first advice is, if you have already started praying, like you understand the importance of praying and you feel the relation between you and Allah when you pray, keep on praying. Do not miss any of your prayers, because if you miss one prayer like today and then you miss another prayer tomorrow, you will miss a lot of prayers in the future. So that was what happened to me. So I can share, because this is a sharing session. So what happened was I stopped praying, I skipped some prayers, and then after that, I remember there was this long period where I didn't pray, and I felt like, wow, what's happened to me now? So to bounce back, to start praying back, it takes a lot of emotions. It takes a lot of courage. I say emotion is because, I started to regret, like how can I do this to myself? How can I stop praying? I understood things, but how can I stop? So you really have to keep your prayers consistent, even though you are not praying like at the earlier time. Like let's say it's now it's Maghrib, and then you pray Maghrib when the azan, has sounded. It's fine if you pray late, as long as you pray. Yeah. And when you pray, don't just pray. When you pray, you have to remember that you're connecting yourself to Allah. So you have to try to, at least when you read out your surah, when you read out your Fatiha, you know that you are reading it for Allah, not just reading out like blah, 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 blah. Yeah. That is my first advice. My second advice is seek knowledge, because knowledge precedes actions. So if you do something for the sake of doing it, but not knowing why behind you do it, for example, when you pray because she prays or because Muslim prays, and not actually understanding why you need to pray, that's something wrong. Yeah. And then there are a lot of things, like you have to read the Quran, and then every rules and regulations that you need to follow, you need to understand why. You can't just blindly like, I wear the hijab, or I do this, I do that, I fast. Those are the pillars of Islam, yes. But if you just do it for the sake of doing it, at a point, you will like, what's the point of doing this? Yeah, so that would be my advices.
Wow, that's beautiful. I think it even applies to the non-Muslims too.
Yeah.
Because usually as the non-Muslim, it's just routine,
Yeah, it's routine. But some people say that if it's routine, it's good because you know that you will at least do it. But for me, when it became routine, I got fed up. So I didn't want to do it anymore, because I really got fed up. Like, what's the point of me doing it if I don't? Yeah. Then to come back to start praying again. Yeah, that's where all the emotion
comes. It's like starting over for the first time.
Yeah, it's like you are a Muslim again. Yeah. I think For new Muslims, especially if you already have the intention to convert, I think it's very important that you stay connected with your family members, even though they do not approve of your decision, because at the end of the day, your decision is what you have and what you will make. So even though your father tells you, oh, if you convert, then I will disown you, remember that when you convert, it is not only just on paper, it's your heart as well. So for me, my advice is, please, if you can, remain loving and caring to your family members, especially your parents, because they are the ones who brought you to the world. It is important that you are transparent them, telling them that this is your intention. If they don't allow it, try it later on, but your heart is already Islam. So that is what is important.